Okay, good morning, everyone. Today I will presenting a reflection on particular journal entitled "Historical Research in the Digital Age: Opportunities and Challenge," a work by Amina Marzouk Chouchain from Manoba University in Tunisia. I find this topic very relevant to our context here in Indonesia, especially as our own historiography has been evolving rapidly alongside digital transformations. In this presentation, I will discuss how digital technology have reshaped historical research globally and locally, what opportunities they create, and what challenge they bring, both from the author argument and from example in Indonesian historical studies. So, in the past, historians often face what Marzouk calls as a culture of scarcity, or in Indonesia, uh, we mention it as tidak ada data. Sources were limited, archives were distant, and research often required costly and exhausting trips. But with the rise of the internet in the 1990s, we entered what Marzouk calls a culture of abundance. Suddenly, historians could access thousands of documents, manuscripts, and photographs online just with a few clicks. I can relate to this shift. For example, Indonesian historian like our college do today can explore digitized archive of Indonesia colonial document from Leiden University through the Leiden Digital Collection, for example, delper.nl, and the National Library Digital Repository or kastara.perpusnas, which provides access to rare manuscript and newspaper. Of course, this transformation has truly changed how we write and teach history. It's faster, broader, and more inclusive. One of the main opportunities brought by the digital age is unprecedented access to historical sources. Marzouk gives example like Google Book and the American Memory Project, which have digitized millions of primary documents. In our own context, we can see a similar movement through initiative like the National Archive of Indonesia or ANRI, which now provide online access to colonial administration record in the VOC period, independence era document, and even maps. So you can access, for example, Harta Karun VOC. This means that a student from Malang can now explore the same material that once required a trip to Jakarta or even to the Netherlands in Algemeenrijk Archive in The Hague. In other words, history is no longer confined to the archive room. It is in our laptop. The second major opportunities is preservation. Many fragile documents that were previously inaccessible, such as an old newspaper, an old letters, or fragile manuscripts, can now be viewed safely through digitization. For example, uh, DreamSea, etc., and Kastara, of course. For example, the digitization of the Bintang Hindia and Sinpo newspaper by National Library in Kastara allows scholar to re-examine early nationalist discourse and Chinese Indonesian voices that were long overlooked. Or maybe you can find it in Monash repository. Another opportunities lies in collaboration. A digital platform, social media, and online forum enable historians from different regions to share knowledge instantly. In Indonesia, collaborative project like Sejarah Digital Indonesia or the Historia.id portal allow researchers, educators, and the public to engage with the past in dynamic ways. This kind of public history effort democratize historical knowledge, of course. Uh, but in the other hand, the digital age also brings a new culture of open access. Um, yeah, many institutions, journal, and universities now share thesis and article freely. For instance, the Garuda Portal and Neliti Repository in Indonesia give access to thousands of historical studies, making academic work more transparent and accessible. And of course, digital tools from laptop and camera to software like Zotero or maybe you use Mendeley, NVivo, or GIS, GIS. I mean, mapping. Uh, this kind of software help historian collect and analyze data more effectively. I personally find that this shift very empowering. It allows us to build our own digital archive and visualize the past in ways that were never possible before. For instance, mapping the spread of pesantren in East Java or tracing the roots of anti-colonial movement using geospatial tools. Okay. However, as Marzuk reminds us, this digital advance also brings challenge. One the most serious is the loss of context. Yeah, when a historical document is digitized, it is often detached from its physical surrounding, itself, its collection, its original labeling, all of which help us understanding its meaning. For example, if we read a colonial letter from the Dutch East Indies without understanding the administrative structure of that archives, we might misinterpret the tone or intention of the writer. The digital version gives us the text, but not always the texture of the history. This remind us that a digital access does not automatically mean deeper understanding. It's mean that context still matters deeply in historiography. Number two, as another challenge, is inequality of access. Not all digital resources are free. Many important archives require subscription, which create a gap between well-funded institutions and smaller universities or independent researchers. In Indonesia, for example, access to some international database like GSTOR or Gale archives is still limited to certain major universities. This can reproduce the same academic hierarchies without a digital technology will solve. There's also selection bias. I mean, digitization is not a neutral activities. What get digitized often depend on politics, on the funding intention, or institutional priorities. For example, colonial archive has been more thoroughly digitized than local communities archive or indigenous oral histories. Why? Yeah, because uh, they regarded colonial archive were more important than local or oral histories. This means that our digital history can still reproduce the same biases as the old colonial historiography unless we critically address it. Number three, uh, also serious concern about authenticity and preservation. Uh, Digital file can be easily altered or corrupt. A pure quality scan might blur important details, and broken links, what we call as uh, error 404 or 404 errors. So it can make uh, entering an entire collection disappear overnight. This raises the question of how we preserve digital heritage for the future. If our archive exists only in unstable digital format, we risk entering what calls a digital dark age. Yeah. Beyond the technical issues, there are also something uh, human mistake, human at stake, the historian craft. Many of us still feel that working in a physical archive, like smelling the paper, flipping through dusty files, giving a kind of intimacy and discovery that no PDF can replace. In Indonesia, that feeling of touching the, for example, arsip perjuangan or reading Soekarno handwritten of Indonesian Proclamation is part of the emotional connection that absolutely shapes, in my own opinion, our understanding of history. And the next challenge is the digital literacy. Many historians, especially from older generation, are still not comfortable with advanced digital method like data visualization or text mining. Fortunately, in Indonesia, we are seeing progress. Workshop organized by Arsip Nasional Republik Indonesia or ANRI or BRIN, Badan Riset Badan Riset Indonesia Nasional, and various university now train young historian to use digital archive, metadata, and online repository responsibly. The goal is not just to make us faster researchers, but better interpreters. Where historian who can combine digital tools with critical method of source analysis. Uh, yeah. So the conclusion, to conclude, I agree with Marzuk that the digital age has brought both tremendous opportunities and significant challenge for historical research. It has opened the doors the more inclusive and efficient scholarship, which one where sources are abundant and collaboration is global. But it also reminds us that technology is not neutral. Without context, critical thinking, and historical awareness, we risk turning history into just a data. For Indonesian historiography, this digital moment is a double-edged sword, yo, bifacial swords. It's allow us to decolonize knowledge by recovering local voices from regional archives, oral histories, and indigenous narratives such as Tambo, Babat, such as like that. But in other hand, it also challenges us to protect our own digital memory for the future related to the that digital age. So, as a historian living in this digital era, we believe our task is to find balance, to embrace innovation without losing the human and interpretive spirit that define our discipline. I think that's all my presentation.